Rudy Fichtenbaum is, for those who have not met him yet, the president of the National American Association of University Professors. Woo! For those who don't know, not every AAUP chapter is a union, not a collective bargaining. The AAUP is more than that. It is our official professional association, like the AMA is for doctors, like the bar is for lawyers. AAUP represents the entire profession, and this is the national president. He is also, of course, a retired professor of economics from Wright State University, who understands, perhaps better than many who should, how to read an audited financial statement. He has been, a long time, our chief negotiator, and he has stepped in when we have needed him most to try and complete our negotiations now. So without further ado, Rudy Fichtenbaum.
Thank you, and I want to give you an update here and kind of let you know what's going on. Last week we had 2 negotiating sessions, and we have one more session that will start today at 4 p.m. But make no mistake, we are going to fact-finding no matter what the outcome of today's session is. The purpose of today's session is to try and clear out some of the outstanding issues which should really not be going to fact-finding. In our last negotiating session on Friday, we were able to reach tentative agreement on a number of articles, and importantly, we did get the administration and board to back down on proposals in Articles 10 on governance, 14 on discipline, and 15 on 15 TET termination and unpaid suspension, and 15 NTE termination of appointment and suspension without pay. I should really say that you got them to back down. You got them to back down by your unanimous vote at November's chapter meeting to add strike language to our chapter constitution and bylaws, and by providing your overwhelming support to pledge to reject any CBA or fact finder's report that entails a loss in real compensation or job security by your presence at the Lake Campus for the December Board of Trustees meetings, where they thought they could run, but we showed them they can't hide. And you're showing them the same thing with your presence here today. But in the same session, the same negotiating session, we also got some bad news that I'll get to in just a minute. When we started negotiations, the board and the president took the position that their key goal was to avoid fiscal watch. But it is now apparent to us that these negotiations are not really about the university's finances. As was reported at the Board Finance Committee last Friday, if the administration sticks to its remediation plan, the university will avoid fiscal watch. The reality is the board and the president delayed negotiations for so long that nothing we might agree to will impact whether the university goes on fiscal watch or not. Whether Wright State goes on fiscal watch or not will be determined by what happens in the current fiscal year, which ends June 30th. The board and the president have argued that even though the plan is in place to avoid fiscal watch, the faculty need to give more. Why? They say they are uncertain about enrollment in the future and complain about declining tuition dollars because of College Credit Plus. But our enrollment declines have been largely among international students, and this is due to the incompetence of the administration, and apparently they are not confident that they can solve the problems that they have created. The enrollment of international students at other schools in Ohio has not declined the way it has declined at Wright State. Moreover, every state university is feeling the effects of College Credit Plus, but none are asking the faculty to take a 10% real cut in compensation over the next 3 years. So what is the central issue in our negotiations? Repeatedly, the board and the president in negotiations, through their representatives at the negotiating table, have expressed the view that the financial crisis at the university gives them the upper hand and they intend to use it. So fundamentally, these negotiations are about power and about respect. The board and the president believe they have the power, and it is clear that they have no respect for the faculty. The board and the president apparently think the faculty are just one more group of employees in the enterprise, as they refer to us, and they're not talking about the Starship Enterprise. Repeatedly during negotiations, they've made this abundantly clear. They want to take the enterprise approach on wages and on benefits. And so at last Friday's negotiating session, they offered us 0, 0, 0 for salary, even though they want the unilateral right to give merit pay, which would be distributed solely at their discretion by deans. I guess it's just in case they find some money in a cookie jar. But that's not the worst of it by a long shot. They want us to agree to Me Too language. That means that all benefits, health insurance, life insurance, disability, parking, tuition benefits, dental, vision, adoption, you name it, they give to other university employees. They want us to just say, you know, we'll take whatever you give them.
No.
And by the way, this applies to retrenchment, so that the maximum notice for a tenured faculty member or a continuing NTE faculty member with more than 10 years of service would go from 18 months to 24 weeks. Apparently, after that, the board thinks you just go and look for a job like the other employees they laid off. They don't seem to realize that generally faculty get only hired once a year and at the beginning of the fall semester, and that for most faculty it takes over a year to find a job and generally involves a national search. Importantly, this quote-unquote Me Too language, they want you to give up the right to bargain over all mandatory topics. They think it's fine for you to pay union dues as long as your union doesn't bargain for anything and just accepts what everybody else at the university gets.
No way.
And if you think I'm exaggerating, just read the language they put on the table. It's on our website. It will be on our website. Also, the premium increases for health insurance they want will cost us about $600,000 a year. Right now, we pay $1.8 million. You actually pay almost 20% of the premium cost and almost 30% of the total health care cost when you factor in all of the co-pays, the co-insurance, the deductibles that you're paying already. So that would be a 33% increase in premiums. On top of that, they want higher out-of-pocket maximums and increased co-insurance. Needless to say, cuts like these harm the people who are already sick and, of course, defeat the whole purpose of having health insurance. And these cuts will fall more heavily on the lower-paid faculty. This is a plan they want us to accept. All told, they want us to accept a cut that is about $2.1 million. That's the equivalent of a 4% cut in pay for bargaining unit faculty as a whole. And to repeat, the majority of the cuts will fall on people who are sick and low paid, so it will be a double whammy for them.
Shame.
But wait, it gets even worse. And you say, well, how can it get worse than 000 and a 4% cut in pay due to health care cuts?
Yeah.
Well, on Friday, at the end of our bargaining session, they put a new proposal on the table that will allow them to furlough faculty. And I should have said furlough in quotes, because you still have to teach your classes and have office hours. And we all know that taking days off from doing research will only hurt you. It can delay your promotion, result in a higher teaching load, or prevent you from getting tenure. Moreover, the recommendations you write for students and their emails will still be there when you return. The de facto result is that you will be doing your job but for less pay.
Or no pay.
They said that they are contemplating up to a 10-day furlough if it's necessary. That's a half month's pay. It would amount to a 5% cut in pay above and beyond the de facto cuts they want to apply via insurance and also due to the effects of inflation. And to be clear, let me remind you that the administration's language for retrenchment is still on the table, still threatening the job security of the NTE and the TET BUFFMs alike. Back to the strike language that we added to our chapter constitution and bylaws last fall. With Friday's outrageous proposals, the administration signals clearly that they want to impose a big pay cut on us and weaken our job security protections and in general emasculate our union. So taking steps toward a strike will be needed, and it is absolutely necessary. And remember that when you start talking to your colleagues about a strike and they worry about losing pay, I would say there's a good chance they will be losing pay if they are not willing to strike. Remember, the administration's proposal is to furlough you for 10 days. And honestly put, take away 10 days or 5% of your annual income. Other employees who are furloughed don't have to come to work, but you do. Still have a huge pile of grading to do when you get back, right?
Yep.
Allowing the administration to furlough faculty, they don't have the integrity to just call it a temporary pay cut, is like giving heroin to a drug addict. It simply enables the administration and the board to keep the same misplaced priorities by not making cuts in intercollegiate athletics, which, by the way, once again in 2017,
say it again, Rudy,
$1.8 million over their budget. $1.8 million. Nor are they willing to cut all of the people making six-figure salaries in and Wazark and at other top administrative levels. Those are cuts they should have made long time ago. leave, the faculty will not stand up. They view the financial crisis as an opportunity to take back everything we have won in the last 20 years. Our negotiations are not just about money. They are about power and about whether faculty will be treated as professionals, which is a necessary condition for Wright State University to remain a real university. Students, that faculty are the heart and soul of the university. We are responsible for virtually every dollar that comes into this institution to tuition and research. No student comes here because they think we have a nice fitness center or because they think we have a great director of parking. Yeah. They can go to Planet Fitness for $10 a month. They don't need to pay tuition for that. They're coming here to get a high-quality education.
Yes. Yes. And we deliver.
No one gives research grants to the university because we have an office of sponsored research. In fact, the opposite is the case. We have an office of sponsored research because faculty get the grants. Without faculty, there is no reason for anyone else to have a job at this university. The only way to demonstrate to the board that you will not let them destroy our university is to vote to authorize a strike. Later today, I will be recommending to the executive committee that they begin the strike authorization process.
Go for it.
That means you will be called upon to vote to allow the executive committee to call a strike if our chapter members, you, either reject a fact finder's report or if the board rejects a fact finder's report and chooses to try and impose a new contract on us.
No way.
No way. Without this vote, going into fact finding, you are going to lose on health care and probably on wages. And so with a 2% inflation every year, you will be taking a 10% cut in pay. And that does not count a furlough. But most important of all, you will lose what it means to be a university faculty member.
Yes.
This is about respect.
Yes.
It is about who you are and what you do. It is also about our students. And deserve a real university education.
Yes.
Remember that faculty's working conditions are students' learning conditions, and with fewer faculty teaching, more classes and larger classes, the quality of education we provide will be diminished. It's also hard to think about what's good for your students when you're worried whether you'll be able to make your mortgage payment or whether you'll have to declare bankruptcy if you get sick. try and avoid strife without giving up what it means to be a faculty member is to show the board that the faculty are united and willing to strike if the board insists on its draconian proposals.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If the faculty are forced to strike, it will not be about money, but about power and respect. It is about whether we will continue to have a university or simply be turned into an education factory.
Yes.